about this. Some people say it's Terran favored. Some people say it's Zerg favored. It really just depends on the situation and the playstyle of the players.
The scariest thing of all on this map is mech. I have to say, after seeing Innovation Planet, I'm like, well, there is little answer if it gets to the late game. There's not much you can do against planetaries on this map.
All right, Moonblade, let's see if TY can close it out, or if Rogue is going to bring us to a 1-1 score.
Push it, push it, push it, push it.
Down here to the bottom left, or bottom right, excuse me, it's TY. His ID comes from his initials, Taeyang.
Well, there's Rogue. He's top left.
Yeah.
There you go.
There he is.
There he is. Losing that game 1. Facing the infamous mech. The new meta for Terrans right now. They've kind of realized at this point that, you know what? Zerg has such a hard time in the late game against some of the compositions they can make. If it gets to battle cruisers.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. BCs are just unbeatable by Zerg. There's no real answer for them when they're supported.
They get nasty, man. Like, if you got Ravens, Vikings to support Thors, Widow Mines, like, there's very little answers Zerg do have. And I think if TY, if he shows more of what he showed in game 1, he's going to go for that sort of style in the late game. He's going to try and get there.
Yeah. I mean, he had a bit of a scrappy game against Rogue in game 1, so he wasn't able to get to that supreme late game because he was struggling for mining for a while, but he just made cost-efficient units and was able to hang through there.
Look at that. Pool first as well for Rogue. So once he gets a couple of lings out, maybe scared a little bit of a proxy as well, perhaps. We'll see if how many lings he wants to make from here.
That's interesting. Well, I mean, if you think about it, back on the BC's topic, you know, a maxed out Terran player with, oh my god, hold on, we have to look at this. I just...
What is that? Well, yeah, that was fantastic.
So,
Sexy
I'm loving
boys.
these.
Oh man, in the club.
Back to the point though. You know, until we have in Legacy of the Void that Viper spell that does a ton of damage to air, like, Corruptors don't really deal with battle cruisers because you have Thor support, you know. You can't yank them, and you can, but it's just difficult to do so with all the Thors around, and Vikings are going to zone out your Vipers. It's just the answer to mass BC late game, or even like a medium amount of BCs, like 4 or 6 of them, is to just not let the Terran get that big of a bank to actually be able to make 4 starports and a fusion core and start cranking them out.
Yeah, all it takes for mech is to get to 4 base. If you got 8 gases, you can max out your army. And usually the transition will be, you know, Hellbat, Tank, Thor, Viking into that later thing. Like, they have all the time in the world after they max out and defend pretty much anything the Zerg will try and throw at them. They bank up. They throw down 3, 4 starports, fusion core, and they just go into that behind it. And we actually saw Innovation do this, I believe it was against Snoot back when he was here.
Yeah.
In the Challenger match. And it's such a hard composition. There's very, very little answers out there at the moment.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, man. I remember in Snoot and Challenger, he actually put up a really great fight against Innovation.
They were good games for sure, but I think it was like the start of the showcasing of like how powerful mech is at this point and how Terrans have finally figured out what they need to do to really trump Zerg. There's really a timer on the game if its mech is in play.
What do you think about like, killing these rocks? It's going to really slow down aggression from TY, but he actually decides not to do it.
It's interesting that he worked on it for half the health and then decided to back off.
I think he saw these Marines coming out, perhaps. Oh, he wouldn't have any vision of them, though. They're looking for Overlords.
Maybe he's planning to hide them. Oh, maybe he's looking for those Marines, yeah. Look at that, 6 Marines on the way. That's an interesting number. He's a little bit of a cheeky poke here.
He's actually going to try to deny this third base, I think, like 100%. Like really hardcore deny. He's forcing more Lings out. He's actually going all the way across.
Well, he's going to be running into 2 Queens, and he's going for that 2-base Mutus opening. And look at that, Ling speed nearly done. More and more Lings coming out as well, so these Marines are going to get shut down.
I'm a bit surprised he's attacking the natural. I expected him to hit the third.
He's actually committing to this, which is such a surprise.
He really just wants to get in the main base, but...
Oh, beautifully done from Rogue, though. Oh, not transfusing, though. He did have the energy for it as well. Big blunder there, losing a queen like that.
I still don't know if that was...
Unforgivable.
I still don't know if that was worth it, especially because the queen should not have died, right?
Queen shouldn't have died. It should have been a flawless victory, actually.
I mean, like, it was almost as if he was trying to force the Hellies on the base to get a good scout, but he already knows, he should know, that there's no third base, and so, therefore, this is most likely just two-base Muta.
This could do a lot of damage here. One Hellion going to go down. Second one, a little bit weak, but more and more Lings on the way.
I'm just simply put a bit baffled by TY's play in this game.
It's an interesting sort of aggression. Maybe he was expecting Rogue to play a little bit more greedier. Maybe skimp out on the extra queen and spine. Just play complete greed considering of what TY did last game. But TY really putting on the aggression here. Staying on 2CC. Now with that third one finally going down.
Same time as the Spire. Spore Crawler's up here. Going to make this Widowmine drop a lot tougher to actually execute.
No hope of that happening. Maybe he wants to throw one there. Deny that for as long as possible. Not even that. Huh.
Yeah, he thought
Greedy.
about it. But he knows there's a lair, so I guess he was like, this isn't going to be worth it.
I still think it'd be worth it. I think it'd be a cool idea.
Yeah.
Oh, he killed an Overlord with those two instead. It's funny. We didn't get to see it, but he dropped two Overlords in the south. And dropped two mines in the south and killed an Overlord.
It's pretty smart because it, further denies Rogue's coverage of scouting for things like this, so drops in the future can be a lot stronger.
He's actually scouting with this medivac as well. Flying around, he found the next Overlord for that Viking to kill as well.
Yeah, it's a quick unit, especially with the boosters activated. He's probably going to transfuse this.
And we are certainly going to see that mech play again. Armory nearly finished. Half done, and second factory on the way. So he wants to go for it, and I can't blame him.
He's killing so many Overlords.
Man, this is brilliant.
He killed another one, and there was a transfuse available. Oh,
Link baited it.
But, he killed another one in the middle of the map. Another transfuse was missed, and Rogue is, happened to spend so much money on just keeping his Overlords alive on 2 base. And that's a lot of larva spent as well. But 9 Mutas on the way finally. There are a few Widowmines on the way. A few Widowmines already out on the map, which might scout this in that medevac. And he also has 2 turrets coming up as well as a Thor, so he should be fine against this. I don't think these Mutas are going to do too much damage.
Everything is in place for it, certainly so. He's got the turrets up. He's got some hidden mines around the base as well. Little Easter eggs that the Mutas are going to try and run into.
He had a changeling in there. He sees the turret placement, so he knows kind of that this isn't going to be something he can really commit to. He can use it more defensively, I feel. He's switching into a Roach Warren.
I like this. Finally, we're going to see some Roach Warren. I think he knows, especially on this map, that you are on a timer. It's going to be a lot harder for him to try and go for Ultra Tech late game because of how the map is shaped. This is how the choke points are. It's going to be very awkward to fight with Ultralisk, so you want to try and avoid that. So maybe a Roach timing. Though the Roach Warren is a little late for that. Maybe he wants to go for Vipers behind this, with some Roach Hydra would be a pretty good choice as well.
That's a good choice. We see one supply devotee gets killed. He knows where the turrets are. He knows that this is going to be a tough damage to find, but he tries to get something. He's trying to scout how many Thors are there. Oh, this is a great Widowmine placement again. TY playing the Widowmines really well this game. And third base is finally going to be landed here. Infestation Pit for the Hive, but still no Hydro Stem, so not a single Roach made yet either. I think he's just trying to play greedy because he knows TY isn't moving out anytime soon, and like you said, he's not going to be doing an attack with this, at least not yet.
Certainly not, but it's still a scary situation because I don't think anyone is comfortable in the late game currently, and the further TY gets set up, the worse it's going to be if he ever wants to try and stop this army from getting too big. Yeah, but I think we are going to see him go for that Viper timing at some point. Look at this. These 2 mines going to be wasted on Overlord. Could try and snipe them if he wants. Oh, it's so close.
That's so scary. Overlord saw this mine, but didn't get the kill, of course. It's just 1 mine. Spire getting that +1 nearly finished, and the 1/1 upgrades for ranged units is going to be finished soon too. He's just got Overlord speed. He's running around the map trying to find anything he can. In this case, going to clean up this Widow mine. So we take that 4th base. 5th base, I guess.
Hellions finding a couple queens. They're going to go down. Muta's not going to be back in time to help them out, so little victory there. Denying as much creep as you can is very important.
Yeah, he knew the Needless were out of position because he saw them with the Widow Mines, so this is another just great move, just utilizing map awareness with these Widow Mines.
Yeah, Widow Mines, and there's a lot of active creep tumors on the map still for Rogue, so he doesn't really need those queens again. He can just keep creeping through the map here. He's almost at halfway as well, so if you can get it over towards TY's base before he's even tried for a fourth base. He should be in a great place for an attack.
Killing a Mutalisk there. I actually go for another one because he has Drilling Claws super early here. I don't think that one's ready yet. Oh, not quite.
That was scary. That would be a disaster if it hit.
Boosts on cooldown. He's going to lose this, but Hydralisk then is now being made.
Very lately.
Yeah, and he's got the 2-2 upgrades on the way. Only a few roaches on the map, perhaps just for Hellion defense initially before he decides to be a little bit more aggressive. He's droning up like a madman. He's taking this fourth base. The fifth base to the bottom left he's probably going to be taking fairly soon. Thor's just coming over here for muted defense.
Yeah, always good to keep a Thor in the medivacs for this kind of situation. When you see it go down, it's going to distract him and let these turrets finish up in time. And look at that, 3 Vipers on the way, 2-2 on the way. Hydra upgrades haven't really started just yet there. I'm getting a little worried about that.
Yeah, because like you're saying, I think you said it very well earlier, this matchup is kind of like on a timer for the Zerg player. You know, it's a ticking time bomb to Fusion Core. And with the fourth base, you know, pretty easy to take here for TY now, the additional CCs he's adding. He's sitting pretty. He's getting comfortable. He's going to start building a gas bank pretty soon. He's almost maxed.
Oh, man. Finding nothing there. Just way too much AoE.
Something needs to be done for Rogue soon. He's going to be in a spot where he can't crack TY, and that deadly late game tech is going to come out.
Look at this. Fourth base getting set up right now. There's no answer for it. You know, Rogue is not in the place to try and fight it. He sees it going down. Sees tanks setting up, 2 Thors there. If he had his army in place, if he had an army for this, he might be able to shut it down, but he's just not. He's content with waiting. So I'm very curious to see how he's going to try and approach this in the late game.
I like this move here. Yeah. Not to cut you off, but like he knows that army's out of position. He's trying to, every time TY is somewhere else, he's trying to find an opening with these Mulas.
It's some, but I don't think it's enough to like slow down extra command centers. It's like really about trying to shut down the mech Terran as fast as possible. But maybe he knows something that we don't. Maybe he knows he's got a plan for this late game.
Sure. Keep in mind some interesting things about the way Rogue has been playing. We've seen in this game already, just making a few like little mistakes here and there. He's always like a little bit off on some of these things. One of the things I want to talk about is it's like it's a significant thing that seems insignificant. He had an Overlord next to the top right, spreading creep, but it wasn't on the CC location. They could have denied this CC placement so much more that it actually allowed him to use Mutalisk and other units on the ground to slow down this base being taken. But because it was in the wrong spot, the base just got up for free, lost the Overlord. It was just kind of useless.
Yeah, I think it got shot away either by a mine or like a Thor was shooting at it, so it wasn't on all positions, which is, you know, can deny it for a little bit longer. And look at this, big damage onto those roaches, everything getting shut down. Gonna deny that gold for a little while longer there.
Changed TY's logo to a Widow Mine, man. He's like using those incredibly well in this series.
I do like them. He's actually been very efficient with them. Here we go again. We're gonna claim 2 Thors. That's something.
Yeah, for just a few roaches, that's pretty good. I feel like he's used these Widow Mines in mech more than we see most players actually do in this matchup, and he's done it quite well.
I do like, I really appreciate that actually. It's doing so much damage. It has so much potential for damage. And, well, let's see what Rogue can do here. He's going to try once more. It's going to be Blinding Clouds this time.
Ooh, Viper's in a very vulnerable spot, but he actually gets those Blinding Clouds off. And he's going to force these tanks to unsiege and move back, but he's easily able to move out with just 3 Vipers here. And more Widow Mines coming down. This is going to be a meat grinder slaughterhouse. You know,
pretty well, actually.
Actually, yeah. He gets another set of Blinding Clouds here. I didn't realize he had. And that actually ends up working out decently well. But look at the supplies now. He's going to have to remax.
Yeah, well, he can go in the Ultras if he wants to from here. Those 2 Widow Mines at the end just shut down the rest of the armies. So many Widow Mines, and they're just doing so much damage to this kind of composition.
Yeah, 10 Widow Mines on the map. No one is really doing this with their mech comp. It's something that's easily produced, easily replaced. And here we go.
3 starports on the way.
3 starports, man.
I wonder if we're going to see that. We're going to see the Fusion Core, or are we going to simply see him going to Raven? You know, there's 2 options here. Well, there's a lot of options in general.
Banshees 2 or something that's pretty feasible.
Vikings, you know, Vikings clean out the air, deny these Vipers from ever getting a decent Blinding Cloud again.
It starts to look like he's going to start things off with Vikings. He's producing Vikings off of his initial starport, so that leads me to believe he's going to make a set or 2 of Vikings, maybe go up to like 8 or 10, and then start making his Fusion Core, because he's not in a free position yet to where he's got that massive gas bank. He's not maxed yet. So I think going into Vikings first is the safer choice, and just continue to produce these Widow Mines, continue to harass with them.
Oh, man.
Gold Base just lost 9 drones off camera. Moonblade was looking at it.
Luckily, someone's observing.
Oh.
Shots fired.
Oh,
But
Tech Labs actually on these starports. Interesting.
very interesting. Well, scans go down. There's enough orbitals that he can do this for days now, and he sees everything he has to see. He's looking for that army more than anything else, though. He needs to know the composition of Zerg so he can make the appropriate units for it. But it's getting harder and harder for Rogue at this point, as we do see planetaries going up in key points. One of the key points being that gold base. Once that's up there, it is so hard to deal with. Well, it's actually not a planetary just yet, but now it's morphing into one.
Yeah, it's going to be one. That's its future. We've seen it.
It's his future, and it's such a whole way to deal with. So many mines active at this point, too. These
Oh,
ultras are
man.
going to be taking big hits.
Oh, serious hits, and the siege tanks help clean up. Oh my god, so much damage here. But he doesn't lose really any, but he loses one. And the rest of the transfuses save this, so it ends up being okay.
It's okay for now, but it's an ultra for, what, denying a planetary for a few more seconds? That ain't going to do it. Tanks are in such a key position here. It's such a hard place to ever try and engage into with the ground army in general.
Still no fusion core here for TY. No Ravens, no Banshees. He's just keeping those starports for later. They're set up for when they need to be used.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what it's going to be with what the transition is from here. Looks like he just wants to stay maxed out, stay defending. He wants to really solidify this gold base and make sure the Zerg cannot crash into his army.
Yeah,
There's that fusion core.
there it is. Okay, so he's also missing a few of his armor upgrades. He's working on the +2 now. He's getting high-sec auto-tracking as well for his turrets. And obviously for his planetaries as well, which actually makes a big deal. You know, even just one extra range on that planetary with the splash damage on these units, so important.
Well, still waiting to find out exactly how Rogue is going to approach this army in the late game. He's got an army. He's maxed out. He's making sick bank. It's just about, okay, what do I do with this army? How do I try and remax here? Well, here we go again. You're going to try the gold.
Yep, just going to engage on top of this. The Widow Mines get taken out by splash damage super easy here. A few more Widow Mines getting some hits, but the tanks are out of position, so he's just going to get this planetary. But at what cost? Oh, grabbing some Vikings here too.
So far, so good, but he's going to lose all his Vipers for this. Only one remains. He's going to be pushed back once again. He gets the gold base, though. You know, that, he denies that extra mining for a little while longer.
That huge mineral dump. But the gas is more important right now, especially because TY still has 2,200 minerals, so he can continue to make these BCs, making 3 at a time now. Remember, they have +3, and those air-to-ground damage is just like insane what they can do. Once he gets the weapon refit, you know, it's going to be even stronger. Looks like he's skipping on the weapon refit, he's skipping on the Behemoth reactor right now because he doesn't want. You know, he doesn't want to spend all that gas until he has a few more BCs out. We saw a little bit of a difference when we were watching this in Pro League where one of the players was so far ahead he could get the Behemoth Reactor to make sure the BCs came out with that energy. There's a weapon refit coming up for that Yamato.
Yeah, he wants that Yamato so he can deal with, you know, make the killing of the Ultras a little bit easier. And anything else that might actually threaten these BCs, you know, corruptors in general.
I was totally wrong, by the way. He's actually queued both upgrades. He's got the Behemoth Reactor queued behind that. So.
Oh, well, there you go. That's actually a little bit of a mistake.
Yeah, because his gas just plummets with all this. He's trying to do it once.
Doesn't have much of a bank anymore. He's spotted the army once again with the sensor tower, set up all the tanks and doors in place, and now BCs enter the fray.
Yep, and they're going to do so much air-to-ground damage here. These Hydras can't do much. Trying to kill a BC with Queens.
Oh my goodness, that's never going to happen. Not in a million years. If it does, I'll eat my hat. Now it looks like I'm eating a hat. Well,
there was Infestors too.
Infestors, you know, helped out a little bit.
This BC is in terrible position. Keeps getting locked down. This is, you know, when you have one BC versus, say, 15 Queens, I mean, that's a bit of a different story, right?
Yeah, but if tanks are in range, it's never, ever going to happen. You need a harder defense than that. He's making a lot of Hydras right now. I'm not sure if that's the right choice, but probably better than Corruptors considering how many Vikings are already out.
You remember we talked about this earlier. It was kind of like a rhetorical question, but it's like, what is the answer for BCs?
What is the answer?
Neural Parasite doesn't seem to work all too well.
No, there's no range on the Neural Parasite. They're going to be in tank range, which is the biggest problem we've always had since the nerfing of it back in Wings of Liberty. It's really going to come down to, I mean, if he can catch this army out of position, but TY is in no hurry to leave his tower defense right now. He's in such a comfortable place. He's kind of got his corner of the map, almost half the map. He's got a couple more bases that he can take once he's dealt with the creep, but he is looking very comfortable right now, and it is an army that Zerg has very little options against.
Yeah. The creep here is really important to note. I mean, it's going to slow down any sort of move-outs that TY does go for. And with this creep, sort of with this control of the map, Rogue is going to build a much better bank, so it's tough. It's tough to really sort of hyper analyze this because there's a lot of things to talk about. Like the bank for TY is much smaller. It's always going to be smaller, but he's not going to have to remax almost ever. He's going to remax one unit at a time here and there when he ever loses a BC, when he ever loses one siege tank. That's not that expensive. Whereas Rogue is going to be losing massive groups of units. The fact that he has a bigger bank is more important. So it's not like he's massively ahead because he has a bigger bank, but he needs to trade as efficiently as possible. And that's going to be the name of the game here in this Supreme late game. We're at 28 minutes now into this game. Holding onto this base is pretty important, but he doesn't want to lose a lot of units for it. He's just going to straight engage on this.
Big risk here. A lot of tanks set up in a very awkward hallway. This is the advantage of this map. Look at that. Yamato Cannon's claiming another ultra. It's such a hard place to fight. Zerg has very little options, but he has to defend this base. He needs more bases. He needs a bigger bank. Because he's going to be remaxing 2 or 3 times to try and just defeat this army alone.
The BCs are about to have +3 armor as well. Makes it all the more difficult to engage on this. Killing one of his own turrets to allow this forward movement.
And look at these scans. He's going to creep forward tanks again. He's going to force Rogue into another unfavorable sort of engagement right now.
Do you think this base is worth it right now to fight these? Okay, I like this kind of move to kill a few of these Vikings, but
yeah, that's important.
I don't think he should engage into that army, into that choke point. That's like a disaster.
Without key blinding clouds, certainly not. I mean, he can get them. There's a very nice spread on the tanks, though. They're actually in 2s everywhere, so it's going to be always hard. There is enough ultras to tank the hits so long as transfuses are available. The biggest problem is if the tanks start focus firing Hydras, then there's no answer for the BCs anymore.
Look at this. He's even using changelings to try to slow this down. It's like 3 hits away from death. He's going to lose it. There you go.
He has a better chance of taking that bottom base further. That's like even close to the main base of TY right now. If he tries to take multiple at the same time, maybe he can get away with mining 1.
Yeah, could even maybe try to harass while he's doing it with some of these units. Just wants to avoid fighting this choke point because, like you said, the tanks are pre-spread. And the Vikings are zoning out these Vipers so well, it's hard to actually get in on top of that.
More and more BCs are finishing up as well. Currently sitting at about, we got 5 BCs so far. 6-1 about to finish.
Yeah, and 5 to 6 is all you need, really. I mean, he's got so much Yamato. If you've got 6 Yamatos available, you can kill 6 Ultralists super fast with siege tank support. Throwing away SCVs to be able to remax even better.
Yep, it's now the time. It's come to the point where you don't need SCVs anymore, only mules. And here we go again. He's going to be moving forward, but Yamato is going to claim some ultras again. 2 of them.
With how this game's going, I don't see this game ending anytime soon. Like, it's going on for at least like 15 in-game more minutes, I think.
I think so. I think it's going to come down to TY pushing out, taking another base. It's going to trigger Rogue and pressure Rogue to try and force an engagement. But as so long as TY remains patient, it's always going to be an unfavorable engagement for the Zerg player.
Though I like this group of 28 Lings. Those could actually try to sneak into the main base, maybe get some damage done. He's got a tight wall here still, though.
There's actually a couple of tanks waiting as well, so it's always going to be hard to try and find a way in.
The one answer we've seen some Zerg players try to deal with these BCs is actually the same way they dealt with Brewlords and ZBZ in that meta, which is just simply to abduct them into Spore Crawlers. Because Spore Crawlers have one of the best ground-to-air damages in the game.
Yeah.
Ooh, gonna catch these tanks, and this wall's not set up. This is an opportunity, but it looks like it may be wasted. I spoke too soon.
I think it will be wasted. He's gonna get a couple of tanks for it there. But besides that, not finding too much. Bad at all. Here we go again. Looks like he's posturing up to try and fight this army. He's got a lot of Vipers this time, going for the Blinding Cloud. Oh, the Abduct to start things off here. He's actually whittling down the Vikings in a big way.
Got some technical difficulties here in the salmon booth.
Oh, you're fine, mate. I can keep going. Oh, here we go. Still pushing forwards here at northern base. Trying to get rid of the creep. Trying to push forward with these Vikings to snipe some extra Vipers. But slowly but surely, TY is creeping closer and closer. And if he gets this base, it's going to be so hard for the Zerg player to try and break it. Granted, the banks are insanely in favor of Rogue right now. TY is actually keeping pretty low in terms of, keeping his bank up and running.
Oh, he just keeps leaving this depot wall down. I mean, this is going to start causing him too many problems. This Widowmine could do massive damage. Okay, he sees it last second. That one BC can actually like one-shot a Ling, and it shoots like 12 lasers. So those Lings aren't going to last too long here. But getting some damage done, again, if he even has to remake depots, that's money he has to spend.
It's money he doesn't have. You know, he's 2.4k right now.
Oh, no.
Infesta's going the wrong way.
Oh, so many turrets there. If he was trying to be sneaky, that was definitely not the way to do it.
No. Well, here we go. He's kind of found out that the army's weak. It's being put out of position because of the Zerglings.
Trying to even use some of these overseers to tank a bit here. These battle cruisers are happy. I mean, listen, the Hydras are tickling them. At +3 armor on these BCs, Hydras are not the answer. You pull these on top of Hydras, the battle cruisers are like, well, thank you. I was a bit further away from those. Thanks for actually putting me in range.
Yeah, look at
look at this.
Queens actually don't do damage. They might as well be healing them at this point. Sickening amount of armor on these battle cruisers right now. Fully upgraded. And look at that. Corruptor Remax. 28 on the way. He's still got so much bank to play with. 36 Corruptors are going to be the answer, actually. He's going to need a ground army to try and deal with the buildings there, at least.
I'm calling it. This game is going to an hour.
You know what? Rogue isn't in a bad place at all.
Yeah.
You know, I was completely wrong about, I mean, taking it to the late game is one thing, but TY never got the extra bases he needed to start solidifying a bank of his own.
He's very, I don't want to say bad, but I want to say he's like very, he's just not showing us any move outs. Like he doesn't, it's almost like he isn't comfortable trying to push forward with his tanks.
I see what he's doing right now, and I do appreciate it, but he needs to solidify more income, more bank. He still has a huge army right now.
He's just trying to steal the money, basically.
He actually should be probably investing in some Ravens, considering the risk of a Remax with Corruptors.
Yeah, I actually completely agree. The thing is, his gas count isn't that high. His bank has been a problem.
His gas count is sickening.
Well, I mean, it's high, but like it's not as high as Rogue's, right? Like his gas count's at 4,000, but he's running out of gas mining.
Oh,
and he's not going to steal money. He's not going to steal gas at these meals.
Well, the good thing about Ravens, though, is that you can use them again and again and again every fight because energy is so efficient. When it comes to the late game and the mining is kind of run out, energy units are the ones that are going to dominate.
I completely agree with you. Like, I think if he's going to do it, he needs to do it soon, though. The longer he waits, the bigger of a problem this is going to become because he just keeps losing units. And Rogue can trade better like this than he can. And that's why his bank isn't as big. His mineral bank is even an issue. He's about to be mined out at this gold base. The top right base is almost mined out. And that's it. Those are the only two bases he's got right now. He even has to lift this, and he might lose it.
Look at that, the counterattack with 4 Thors as well. He's going to lose that, and his economy's on standstill right now. He can be very effective and efficient with these Vikings so long as he stays on top of his micro and kiting.
It's like Rogue is slowly winning this game piece by piece. Okay, this is a nice move, but Rogue has no answer for this. These Thors are actually going to wipe this base off the face of the map.
You might want to pull them back, though. If he doesn't want to really throw them away at this point. He's near maxed out, not completely maxed, but saving all he can with his army should be the first priority here.
Yeah, these Corruptors definitely can't deal with them.
One Thor going to remain behind to buy time for the others like a true hero.
33 Vikings to 27 Corruptors currently. Oops, I made that a bit too early. Not like 300 minerals really matters to Rogue right now, but I'll lose a Thor. Every unit that TY loses dents his bank.
Still no investment into Ravens despite seeing that huge amount of Corruptors.
He has now the money situation to make Ravens. He's got a lack of money, of minerals, and a bank in gas. I would like to see Ravens at this point because that's a great way to spend his gas with his low minerals. He's going to use these Ravens instead of scans, by the way, to help clear up the creep as well. Like, it's just, he's getting whittled down, and I feel like he was in a really good spot in this game, and he had BCs and stuff, but Rogue has taken a Viking here, a Viking there, a tank here, a tank there, a Thor there, and then eventually, because he doesn't have these bases that Rogue has, he's losing his money. His gas bank is getting lower. Again, 3,000 is a lot, but if you can't spend it if you don't have minerals.
Well, he's got this base up here. He needs to stop the creep he needs to reset the creep more so he can actually land it in the appropriate place. If he keeps this for long enough, he will stabilize again. He's slowly building that bank back up, but it's all about dealing with this army that he sees in front of him. And you see that army creeping forward, actually a big spread on the Corruptors. They're going to go for it once again.
He really considers it, just letting the Brewlords put a few Brewlings down first.
These battlecruisers are actually surprisingly getting forwards here, but he's going to go for the big fight. Huge spread on these Vikings.
Yeah, huge spread on these Vikings, and he's just got like a concave of Vikings plus Thors in anti-air mode, and this Corruptor army is dying so fast. Now, how is he going to rematch? That's the question. He's actually pulling back now, and is he just going to make 31, 32 more Corruptors? That's the plan.
Wow, that's an interesting plan here, considering how heavy that Viking count is. You know, he could actually choose to go for something a little bit different here. Maybe Ultras, Hydras, and some Vipers might be the correct choice this time because of how weak that ground army is right now.
So Just all these mules every time. Just trying to get that mineral bank up. He's going to go from 300 to like 1,500 in 5 seconds, man. Watch this.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, there it goes. Less
that.
than 5 seconds.
This ground army is such an interesting choice. I don't know if it's the right one from Rogue. He does have the money to play with though, and we do see TY's trying to catch up back to Max. He's doing it with 9 Vikings at a time though, so he's got to have the correct choice of composition once again.
BC count down to 2. He still has 8 Thors, and they were again going in that, what's it, like, I remember what the specific technical term for this, but they're in anti-air mode. And that does so much damage to these units. It's interesting that he continues to make these Broodlords. And, you know, we talked about Rogue's bank, how good it was, but half of it is gone. He literally lost half his bank to remax this. And he can only do that one more time. But then after that, you know, he's lost control of his top base.
Look at that. Scans go down. He sees everything he's up against. He's like, okay, I need to spread my Vikings again. And I have to do it now.
45 to 48 is the count right now.
Yeah. Well, that's actually not too bad for the Corruptors at all. It's all about that fight.
And so many of these Vikings are actually not repaired. Like, a lot of them are weak.
He's going to let it go. He's just going to let that base go for now. He's waiting for the remax so he can fight that army again.
Every time I see these Marines, I'm like, wait, where did he make Marines? Changelings, man. Sneaky. I'm like, why would he do that?
Yeah. Well, it looks like Rogue wants to drop the hammer here. He's going to actually expand there and push forward with these Broodlords. It's going to have to be now.
The Vikings way out of position, actually. He's going to lose a lot of these Thors. Yamato's going down. This could be the fight that decides everything. A massive concave of Vikings here. And he's just fighting right into this even turrets, helping out a little bit. And it looks like with a remax, he's going to push these Vikings back.
He's winning one side of it, but more and more from below.
The Thors need to be taken out.
Oh, they're doing a lot of damage here.
You know what? I think he just wins this fight.
I think he wins this fight in the remax. If he doesn't win this fight, he's going to win it with the remax here. 34 more Corruptors on the way.
He needs to take out all of these Corruptors right now. He needs to take out all of them. He's actually chasing, ignore those Broodlords. Chase those Corruptors down, because if he links those up with the rest of the Corruptors, he's going to have twice the Corruptors he had before. And TY does not have the bank. 2 Vikings at a time, is that going to be it? Is that how he's going to deal with 34 Corruptors being made at a time? I don't think so.
Well, he just dropped 9 mules, so maybe he can catch up that way.
But no gas. Yeah.
Finally, he's out of that gas. So this is a bit of a disaster right now. Well,
he's trying to even use minerals to make turrets.
Yeah, might as well.
I think it's a great choice. Yeah. Well, turrets also help out against the Broodlords. You know, I mean, the Broodlords can't get on top of those. It gets, you know, too close with them. I don't know, man. I think TY's out of luck here. I think this is going to be baby at the end.
Out of steam, not expanding enough. And Rogue's having so much map control for the entire game. Spent all his bank to get this far, but it was like he might be able to close it out here.
Okay, these Thor shots are so important from behind. They're doing so much AoE damage. The turrets are continuing to help out here as well. He's trying to kite, but he's got no room left this time, Moonblade.
Yeah, no time at all. Now 2 Broodlords cleaning up everything on the ground with some queens.
He's making Hellbats with his bank right now. He's really desperate. He's got no gas. He's trying to kite again against these Corruptors back behind into these turrets. The Thor not getting that shot. He can just right-click on these Corruptors and do so much damage. Finally getting a shot or 2 off here.
He's got to be careful. There's so many turrets. And now, Bungle, there's no way these Vikings can get close at all.
GG!
Wow.
Rogue takes it.
He breaks the curse.
He did it, man.
He breaks the mech curse. Finally, we see Zerk do well in the late game against this. And you know what was the answer? Having a bank at least 4 times the size of the Terran player. You know, having complete map control, keeping TY on 5 bases, and maxing out again and again and again, making the right choice of army composition. But I think TY made a poor choice in army. He didn't invest in Ravens at all when he had the chance, when he had, you know, such a gas count. It's so powerful in the late game, absorbing hits from Corruptors specifically with the point defense drones and secret missiles to kind of spread out and displace the Corruptors. Yeah, and that really going the distance there. Rogue must be feeling pretty good about that one.